Hello students, now we'll discuss about the independence of Supreme Court. What is the meaning of independence? So independence means, as we discussed, the government has three organs: legislature, executive and judiciary. And of course, the powers have been distributed between these three organs horizontally. Horizontal power distribution. That means it is the implication of checks and balances, right? So that is the meaning of independence. Okay, you may have a question: why the judiciary needs independence? We do know that Supreme Court is a federal court, and Supreme Court is the highest court of appeal, and Supreme Court is the guardian of the fundamental rights and also guardian of the Constitution. And the court ensures the rule of law. It upholds the sovereignty and integrity of the nation. It upholds the laws and constitution. So to perform these many functions, the Supreme Court has to be given independence. Okay, so that's why the Constitution has provided many provisions to ensure the independence of the judiciary or the independence of the Supreme Court. So what are those provisions which ensure the independence of the judiciary? We are going to discuss. So independence is very essential for the effective discharge of the duties. So what are the duties? Enforcement of the fundamental rights, upholding the rule of law, etc. Right? And the provisions have been inserted in the Constitution to ensure the effective discharge of the duties of the Supreme Court. So what are those provisions? Mode of appointment. We already discussed about the mode of appointment. So in India, collegium system involves in the process of appointment of judges. And of course, collegium system does not allow executives or the political executive to involve in the process of appointment of the judges. So the mode of appointments ensures the independence of the judiciary with respect to the appointment of judges. So when there is no executive involvement, then definitely the court can function in a free and fair manner. There should be no partition or there should be no partiality in case of discharging its duties. Okay, because of this mode of appointment. Okay, then next, security of tenure. So that means the tenure of the judges of the Supreme Court is secured, meaning the judges cannot be removed in a simple manner. There is a special procedure to remove the judges. So as the security of tenure is ensured, the judges can discharge their duties without any fear or favor. Okay, and fixed service conditions, meaning the salaries, allowances, leaves and pensions of the judges can be determined by the Parliament from time to time. However, these service conditions cannot be made to the disadvantage of the judges after their appointment. So this has ensured the fair functioning of the judiciary. And the next provision that makes the judiciary independent is expenses charged on Consolidated Fund of India. What is the meaning of expenditure charged on Consolidated Fund of India? That means if the expenditure is charged on Consolidated Fund of India, then such expenditure is non-votable by the Parliament. That means the expenditure or the salaries or the allowances or the pensions which are given to the judges of the Supreme Court are not subjected to the vote of the members of the Parliament. Therefore, in this way, this has ensured the independence of the judiciary. And the next provision is conduct of the judges cannot be discussed. What is the meaning? The conduct of the judges cannot be discussed in state legislatures as well as in the Parliament except the impeachment motion. That means apart from the impeachment motion, the actions of the judges or the operations which are conducted by the judges cannot be discussed in any legislature. If they do so, it will come under the contempt of court. The court can impose penal actions on such actions, right? And next one is ban on practice after retirement. That means the judges of the Supreme Court are not allowed to plead or represent any case in front of the court after their retirement. So this has ensured that there is no partiality or partisan feelings while discharging their duties in their office, right? And next, freedom to appoint its staff. The Chief Justice of India is empowered to appoint the staff and officers of the Supreme Court to discharge its duties without any executive intervention. And next provision is its jurisdiction cannot be curtailed. It is very important. You know, the Constitution has provided varieties of jurisdictions to the Supreme Court, and these jurisdictions cannot be curtailed by the Parliament. However, the Parliament can extend the jurisdiction, but it cannot curtail the jurisdiction of the Supreme Court. So in this way, the Constitution has ensured the independence of Supreme Court through various provisions. The last provision which makes the judiciary independent is separation from executive. What is the meaning of separation from executive? That means the executive in the public services shouldn't be given the judicial powers. And of course, Article 50 of the Indian Constitution under Directive Principles of the State Policy says that the government or the state should consider or should try to separate the judicial functions as well as executive functions, or the executive should not be given judicial functions. So in order to bring this provision into effect, the Parliament has separated the judicial powers and executive powers, or the Parliament has taken back the judicial powers which had been given to the executive. Okay, dear students, we have completed the discussion on independence of the Supreme Court, or the provisions with respect to ensuring the independence of the Supreme Court, right? In our previous lecture, we have discussed about the appointments, the removal and the tenure of the judges, salaries and allowances, oaths or affirmations, and the evolution of collegium system, etc. So I would request every one of you, please do watch all these videos and make use of it. If you have any doubts, please mail to me. Okay, thank you very much.